next film I'll talk about, the fourth film for this episode of Film Talk. So for folks that have just come in and I forgot and I've been indulging, and a lot of Film Talk is me indulging rather than appeal to folks who might be looking for reviews of brand new films. This is not it. It is about me sharing my geekdom and sharing my passion about films and my stories about films. So for folks who have just come on, who have no context to what's going on, yes, it's indulgent me sharing what I like. So if you like what you see, please stay on and let's share. If you don't, it's all good, man. It's all good. Move on. So with Forever Fever, it is a 1998 film. It was released in 1998. Folks outside or in the States might not understand maybe I should say, folks will know this film by another title. Is That's the Way I Like It. It's a play on John Travolta's Saturday Night Fever film. It is a literal, straight up inspired by, but it's a local context. It is a Singaporean film. This is literally a Singaporean film. Let me try to remember. It is actually my first feature film that I've been involved in as a art director. I was working under Lawrence Eastwood as a production designer, and the cinematographer is Brian Bethany, I think, from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It's directed the first feature by Glenn Gui, Singapore Glenn Gui, and it's a local, literally very local Singaporean film that stars Adrian Pang and a very young Pia Peng, Madeline, Annabelle Francis, Stephen Lim. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name accurately, but let me play the trailer so you have an idea of what's going on. Then I'll ramble about my connection with it. I'm always happy to show this.
Dancing with me. You know what's good for you. You better stay out of my way.
And getting down every night.
Hey, he's on the dance floor.
Miramax Films presents a comedy that proves.
Yeah, it was picked up by Miramax. That was the big deal back then. It was picked up by Miramax, and it was like that's the way I like it. It was the, what's the word for it? At that era, in the late 90s, there was a sudden influx of feature films. Because before that, nobody had done, or not nobody, that's not fair to say, feature films wasn't a thing in Singapore, except for the golden era, the 50s, 60s, I can't remember. And during the late 90s, there were actually 4 movies that came out at the same time. I was lucky to do 2 of them. One of them, not done by me, was also Jack Neo's. I think that one wasn't enough. No, can't remember. But there was an influx of movies at which I would say started local filmmaking as a viable, I don't know if you can say career, as a thing you can actually work for. Back then I was already working in local television broadcasting, designing sets for about a couple of years before I had the opportunity and was asked to art direct. Back then, I mean, I have a lot of stories to tell about Forever Fever, but the reality was, I feel, even until now, I wasn't a production designer. And I felt back then I didn't want to, hi Happy Box, but back then I did not want to encroach onto what I until now feel is another aspect of another person's job. Yeah, I'm not making sense. But then again, yeah, I was the art director, but maybe in the future I want to it's not about spilling tea, it's about sharing what I've learned. And this was my first film, so I learned what I learned with this, the good and bad, and how it informed me when I subsequently did 5 more films after that. And I always lay claim to it because that's all I can do. That's all I can do is lay claim and drop some clout for my own, because I'm not in a position where I let anybody else talk about my own films. Having said that, it is self-promotion, I cannot deny, but I'm no longer active in the local film, hence I can say this shit it's all good for me. Having said that, Forever Fever is, if you want to, it is one of the early films where you hear a lot of Singlish, and Singlish is not colloquial, it's a slang English-ish mixed with different languages to convey messages. That's the simple way of saying it. And let me pause. So Forever Fever is one of the early films that I worked on. It's been a while since I opened this VCD. Nice. Checklist. Wow, checklist for films. Warner Home Video. Fair enough. They're selling their DVDs, but at least there's an image of this scene. I can tell you stories about each scene. Maybe this is not the video for it. Maybe I'll do it another time if folks are interested. But if not, it's all good. 2 discs. Let me see what's at the back. Oh, nice. This is the key shot. Then I'll share about this film. This is Majestic Theatre. It's in Chinatown. This cinema no longer operates. Now it's like a mall. I don't even know if it's still there. Subsequently, it became a mall. And this was a 6-meter by 12-meter banner that I went to a dude in Ang Mo Kio to have painted in a specific 70s style of imagery with the title. Remember, it still says Forever Fever. And we hung up, this was 12 people hanging this up. It wasn't straight, it was tilted, and I had to go to an architectural firm to provide architectural drawing to show that this is architecturally safe to hang up, because there's still buses. The stress was waiting for the buses to go by, because this period was supposed to be in the 70s. There were ADs stationed on left and right more on the left side of the road and also right side of the road, because it was 2-lane. It was waiting for the streets to be clear of the buses. We didn't stop traffic because it was actively moving, so the camera was tilted a little bit up. But when double-decker buses came, stress, bro, totally stressed. So like this aspect, it was a double-decker bus that we took that we cannot hide, but this is it. This was a shot that we used as the sun was going down. What was happening was 6 people were hidden behind, holding on for dear life this banner that we read at the very last minute, that it was obvious it was tilted. We tried to straighten it, but we couldn't, and the camera's rolling for magic hour. So folks were there for dear life, and this was flapping. So you can imagine them being carried away by the wind. But then that's another story that I can safely say, because by then I was on set, and this is what was happening. All of us were behind the camera, further down the street, much further down the street, and not knowing, because it was rolling, there was sound, even though it was ambient sounds, but the walkie-talkies were off, and everybody screaming on that end. But the walkie-talkies was not far enough that the folks on the art department folks were on the roof, relaying messages to the ADs on the ground, and them relaying to us. It's complicated, but the joy of filmmaking back in the day. But having said that, that was that. It ended, and it was the film that was on folks' lips during the 90s anyway, at least in the 90s and the 2000s. And that was that. And this is the film. Disco fever is sweeping across the globe. It literally was. And yeah, I cannot deny this whole strong memories for me. And I would recommend it because it's a film I made, or I was involved in making. Let me show some more. There is quite a number of. Actually, there was a full film. Wow, there's a full movie. I've not watched it. Wow, I found it today. Full film. An hour and 30 minutes.
You're listening to
Maybe I shouldn't link to it.
another sunny Saturday morning in Los Angeles. Speaking of Saturdays, if you
Okay, let me skip a little bit.
haven't already caught the #1 box
Nice. Nice. All the stories I could tell, man. Like it or not, find this on. Oh yeah, I wanted to show something, but probably I won't now lah. I'll find a time where, as much as I want to do like a wannabe commentary on my end as the movie plays, right? I don't think it's my place to do, and don't think there's anybody interested to listen to this. So I'll just leave it as is lah. I will just leave it as is. This movie also turned out to be my only debut on full screen. And that's another story for another time. Anyway, I just leave it at that. And yes, this is my film talk for this session. In the past, where I talk about DVDs, for this particular season, if I want to call it, moving forward, I will be jumping from DVDs to VCDs to even VHS that I have. Literally about sharing what I have, and as simple as that lah. Yeah, I'm trying to find something. It's not here. Let me. Wow, the stories that I can come up with, I can share with you. Anyway, this is one of the dance scenes. This Pierre Peng, oh my gosh. Anyway, having said that, thank you all for tuning in. And this has been my film talk. I don't necessarily declare that this is the start of the second season of Film Talk, which I more likely will not do daily. I'm considering Thursdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. But I shall see how. Having said that, please, what I have filmed now on Instagram Live, I'll put on my Instagram videos. I'll upload on my Instagram videos. And as well, you can find my previous videos about films that I talk about. And I thank everyone for choosing to tune in and and thank you for indulging in me sharing. Having said that, I will end this video and see you again soon.